Okay, we have got to talk about this ridiculous, outrageous, bogus segment that appeared on Fox News. Sean Hannity was interviewing a guy named Curtis Swilla. I don't really care if I'm saying that right. He's interviewing this guy who is the founder of the Guardian Angels, which is a vigilante group. And the guy's on the street talking, and he's talking about how immigrants are out of control. They're all just out of control. And then he says, oh, we got one over here. He was shoplifting. And Hannity says, can you pan the camera that way? And the guy says, yeah, pan the camera over there. And they show him roughing up this guy. And then it comes back, and the guy's like, yeah, we hit him so hard his mother back in Venezuela felt it, and all this crap. And it was just a big WWE-style segment on Fox News. Turns out it was total bullshit. Turns out this guy was an American-born citizen. He wasn't an illegal immigrant. Turns out he wasn't shoplifting either. The police department said that he was just disrupting the camera angle and being loud, and these guys decides to rough him up, and they decide to turn it into a publicity stunt and a bit for Fox News. Now, what's even more screwed up about this situation is you're never going to hear Fox News say, hey, wait, whoa, we got that wrong. That was not an illegal immigrant that had shoplifted. You'll never hear Hannity come out and correct himself. He'll just move on because he's in performance theater and he has to keep performing for the crowd and playing to the crowd. And that's where we're at. But for anybody out there that thinks a vigilante is the answer, you are a moron of epic proportions. Anyone that would even found a group like that and say, oh, we're going to be these vigilantes, if you honestly think that is a good idea, you're just a moron of epic proportions, because what you're saying is that just any idiot in some holler in Appalachia or any idiot in some street in New York or California can just go out and form a gang and then go out here and take the law into their own hands. And that is not how that the world should ever operate. That's not how the world should ever work. But that's what MAGA is breeding right now. More than ever, they're breeding that type of mentality. James Lankford, who is a Republican from Oklahoma, he talked about how a famous right-wing radio personality, he talked about how that he sent him a basic threat and said to him, he said this, he said, if you move a bill that solves the border crisis during this presidential year, I will do whatever it takes to destroy you because I do not want you to solve this during a presidential year. Now, James Lankford didn't mention the guy's name, but the guy takes to Twitter, Jesse Kelly, and says, yep, that was me. Yeah, he's talking about me. He has good taste in radio. And there are more and more people out there just feeling the urge to go out here and be vigilantes and take the law into their own hands because they are people who lives in an alternate reality, and they are people who wants to cosplay and have these fantasies lived out in their mind. My thought is, if they really want to protect this country, if they really want to do that, we have a thing called the military. Why don't you go join it? Go join the military. Why is it that they have to do it amongst themselves? They have to create their own little groups and go out here and do these things. If they believe so strongly in defending America, well, we got something that you can do that with. You can go join the military and you can defend your country. But they don't really want to do that. That's not what they're really interested in. They're just interested in cosplay, and they're interested in being loud. And this, folks, to be brutally honest, I'm just going to say it's just a lot of little dick energy is all it is. It really is. It's just a lot of toxic masculinity. It's a lot of bullshit. But it is a dangerous style of rhetoric because Hannity won't go back and correct that. Hannity won't go back and correct that, and someone like Jesse Kelly, he'll just lean into it. He'll own it. Yeah, it was me. I told him. And that'll fire up his base, and they'll all go out and they'll play vigilante. Well, I don't want vigilantes on the street taking the law into their own hands. I don't want vigilantes that takes orders from Donald Trump and from whack job, radio hosts that wants to say whatever they want to say, whenever they want to say it. I don't want that at all. And they talk about they're the blue crowd. I feel like in this scenario, I'm sitting here saying, no, let law enforcement handle this. That's what they're here for. You're not here to do that. But I thought they were the blue crowd. That's how confusing this shit is. They back the blue until the blue doesn't do every single thing they want to do. That's why, I don't know what it's like to be a police officer. I can't imagine what it's like to have that job. But I would be pissed if I saw a bunch of people saying they backed me, but turns out they only backed me when I did exactly what they wanted me to do, and when I had to make the law work against them, I had to fulfill the law, and it turned out against them, then they were mad at me. But that's the world we're in. That's where we're at, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But let's see if Sean Hannity goes back and corrects this one. Has he ever done it in the past? I mean, maybe he has. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, I sure as hell ain't going to hold my breath.